Greetings and welcome to Fridays with Francis. I'm glad that you're here. Several months ago, my wife and I went into a restaurant for a meal, and there was a young lady waiting on our table. She had several tables that she was responsible for. She was quite busy, but she was doing an excellent job. Over time, the tables began to thin out and the crowd began to die down a bit, so that we were able to engage her in conversation. As she came to our table, I talked with her a little bit and found out her name. And I noticed in her dialect that she had a different dialect than my own. And so I said to her, "Are you from around here?" And she looked at me with a sarcastic look on her face, and she said, "Do I sound like I'm from around here?" I said, well, no, but we live in such an eclectic area that dialects and accents are so many around here, you just don't ever know. She said, well, I guess that's true. And she told me where she was from. It was from one of our northern states. And then I said to her, well, where do you think I'm from? And she said, well, I'll tell you one thing for sure. You're not from around here. I laughed and said, oh, really? And she said, yes, you're not from around here. And I said, well, where do you think I'm from? She said, well, if I had to make a guess, I'd say probably Pennsylvania. And I said, sweetheart, I can tell you for sure, nobody's ever said that to me before, not even southern Pennsylvania. And we laughed a bit, and then I said, I actually grew up about 50 miles from where I'm sitting right at this moment. And she couldn't believe it, and I couldn't believe that she didn't think I was from this area. It's interesting, isn't it, how our dialect and our accents can identify where we're from. It's fascinating to me how someone can move to a different region of the country, and over the course of time, their accent begins to take on different qualities, so that they begin to absorb the dialect of the area where they are currently living and where they've moved to. So it's a fascinating thing to me, but it's even more so when I ran across an article not long ago about humpback whales. We are not the only creatures that take on unique accents and dialects based on where we are and where we've been. Scientists tell us that humpback whales, as they swim through the ocean and they go to different regions of the ocean, they take on, there are songs that are unique to those various regions. And so as they follow the whales through the ocean and they take on the songs of the places they've traveled, it's possible for them to determine where a whale has been by virtue of the songs that they sing. Several years ago, a pod of whales had migrated further south than normally, and they went down into around Australia. And as those whales went down into Australia, there was a different song in that area, and it wasn't long before they began singing a hybrid song, a song that was a blending of all the places where they had been. Now, what does this have to do with our Fridays with Francis? Well, the 42nd chapter of Isaiah includes an interesting phrase. I think it's around verse 10 or 11 or so, where Isaiah says, "Sing to the Lord a new song, his praises to the ends of the earth." What does it mean to sing a new song? Well, as it relates to our faith, I think it says a great deal. Because you see, for the Judeans whom Isaiah was addressing, he was able to say to them in a place of great desperation. They had been in Babylonian captivity. They had been in exile for a long time. And he was coming forth with a message of great hope, that they were no longer going to be singing the old songs that they had sung before. As the psalmist said, by the waters of Babylon we sat down and wept. Our tormentors required of us songs. They said, sing us the songs of Zion. And how can we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? Because for them, the songs of Zion were the songs of God's deliverance in times past, but they were far removed from the promised land, and they were far removed from where they thought God's influence and power was. But Isaiah comes forth and says, sing a new song. We're not just bound to singing the songs of a God of the past. We're singing a song of a God of the present who welcomes us into the future. Maybe there is no time in our lives that we have needed to sing a new song. In this day, in this time, in this season, may we sing a new song to the Lord, his praises to the ends of the earth. Well, that's about it for today's Fridays with Francis. I hope that you have a wonderful day and a great weekend, and look forward to talking with you again next week. Until then, go in peace.